I think it's just a happy coincidence that we have St. Francis on the schedule. Of course, that's my alma mater, and it's where I played. And so I think it's, I don't know, serendipitous a little bit that my first ever head coaching match is against where my alma mater, where I went to play. And it'll be, I guess I just found out it's the first time we've ever played them, too. So it's just the way it fell. It wasn't by design. But I think it's a neat little tidbit on the schedule. Thanks to the great rivalry that our men's volleyball team has with Ball State, I think we just inherited that rivalry when we turned Division I several years ago, 14 or 15 years ago. So the Ball State match is always a big match. It's always a big match. Going there, I know it's a big deal. When they come here, we always get a good crowd. And they're only about an hour and 15 minutes away from us. So, we end up recruiting a lot of the same athletes. So for that purpose, it's a big match. To have it here at home as our first home match on the new gym floor with the new head coach, me, I think there's going to be a level of excitement. We'll have, like you said, had played 10 matches already, so we'll have a record. And hopefully we're coming in with some steam. Hopefully we'll have built up some anticipation, some people wanting to see us. At this point, there'll be plenty of stories on us in the website and hopefully in the paper and even on TV, so people want to see what the Mastodons are all about. So to have it against Ball State, a very strong MAC opponent, and of course, like you said, it's sort of an unofficial rival of ours, I think it's just a cool way that worked out. It wasn't planned again. It's just the way it worked out, but I think it worked out really well. With the non-conference schedule, we don't have a lot of control over who we play. We know what we're getting into. When we speak to the host school, we find out who else is potentially going to be in that tournament. But for the most part, we can get an idea of what we're going to be getting into, but we don't always know the teams we're going to play. We do give preferences and say, hey, we want to keep the tournament at this level, or we won't enter a tournament maybe if we feel it's going to be way over our heads, or perhaps, weak. That could potentially hurt our RPI. So in putting this schedule together, we paid attention we just wanted all strong matches, ones that we potentially have an opportunity to win, but there's some there that we're going to really have to fight hard to win. And we basically just want a good RPI schedule, one where the opponents we play will all go on to have good seasons as well. So that was sort of really adding, teams like K-State and Minnesota a little out of our control, but we knew it was happening, and we're okay to play them because we think we can compete. We're a senior-heavy team, very mature leadership at the top of our team. So this is a similar experience to a few years ago when we played Michigan State and Georgia and Iowa State. We had a senior-heavy team that year. So I think it matches up well for us to have a mature team capable of coming across the net from teams like Minnesota and K-State and a lot of the other teams on our schedule for that matter. That tournament is a great tournament. We have Toledo and Duquesne on the day before. So Toledo had a great season last year, and of course Duquesne won their conference, and of course Minnesota's Minnesota. So really that entire weekend I think is going to be a really nice challenge and a great way to get us sort of push us into conference play. It's part of the idea, I think, with a non-conference schedule is you do want to add some challenging matches so that when you get in your conference play, you've seen very, very high level volleyball and you're ready to go. And, we have such a tough conference that I think you need to have played some teams like Minnesota, Duquesne, and Toledo right before you get going. I think the conference schedule is going to be challenging for two reasons. The first reason is I think the conference from top to bottom is going to be extremely competitive. There will not be a single easy match, home or away, with any of the teams. Teams that were towards the bottom of the conference last year are all a year stronger. They were young, and that's probably the only reason they were towards the bottom of the conference. Anybody could beat anyone in our conference every year. And this year in particular, I think that's going to hold true even more. Having been here 11 years, I've competed against Oral Roberts several years when we originally entered the Summit League. Strong team, very hard to play at home, very well coached, usually in an international flair. So you never know quite what you're going to get. You just know they're going to be good and they're going to play really solid, strong, competitive volleyball. Of course, we're going to, we have IUPUI, who we always go to toe-to-toe with every year, conference champions last year. Denver had a strong run last year as they entered the Summit League. They're going to be even stronger. They have a great recruiting class coming in, and they're returning several great players that won conference awards. North Dakota State was very young last year and really surged at the end of the season. They're going to probably return everybody that was a significant contributor. South Dakota State, same story there. I could go and say pretty much the same thing for just about everybody else in the conference. Western Illinois, well coached, going to be strong. University of Nebraska, Omaha, strong team. Young again last year. They were all sophomores. Now they're all going to be juniors, and that's really a great year for volleyball players, your junior year. So entire team's going to be juniors just about. So that'll be dangerous. Of course, University of South Dakota returning Crittenbrink, Player of the Year. So, there's no messing around this year in conference. So, obviously, the strength of the teams is going to be one of the big challenges. But the other challenge for everyone is going to be the travel. There's a lot of split weekends where we'll be playing at home on a Friday and on the road on a Sunday or vice versa. And that's going to really challenge everybody on the schedule. How well do you handle travel? How well do you handle playing one night, getting on a bus, or playing the next day and then playing somewhere else the following day? Really going to test the players' endurance and resilience, and that just doesn't go for us. It goes for everybody in our schedule. So 2 big challenges. I think in the end, we as a conference are going to come out and really have a very strong RPI, because I think top to bottom it's a very strong conference.